Is Herman Cain, who joins me now live from New York. Herman Cain, thank you very much indeed for being with us. Your book, your campaign autobiography, This is Herman Cain. The subtitle is My Journey to the White House. So you're pretty confident, are you?
Yes.
Why?
Yes. It takes a lot of confidence to put a title like that on the book. But I was very confident when I made the decision to do this because it took a lot of soul searching, and I knew that I had a message that would resonate with the American people. I started testing my message even before I actually made my formal declaration for the presidency. So yes, I, along with my team, we've been fairly confident, and now we're beginning to see some of the traction that we were hoping that would happen.
You've not been an elected politician. You have been the CEO of a pizza chain, Godfather's Pizza, and built that up. Do you think that qualifies you to be the leader of the free world?
Well, let's not forget, Adam, that I was also a vice president with the Pillsbury Company. I was also a vice president with Burger King Corporation. In addition to being the president and CEO of Godfather's Pizza, I was the president and CEO of the National Restaurant Association. I'm also a past chairman of the board of the Federal Reserve Bank of Kansas City. So you can't just focus in on my pizza experience in terms of being the leader of the free world. If you look at all of the different positions that I have held, I have more executive experience than all of the other people vying for this position. So yes, I think that that gives me a great opportunity. And here's one other thing that I would like to point out. The American people that I have interacted with over the past several months, they don't see the fact that I have never held public office as a negative. In fact, they see it as a positive because they look at the situation that we have here in Washington, D.C. with all of the people who have held public office, and they really see the fact that I haven't held public office as a plus, not as a negative.
You've got certainly a plan for the country. Tell us a little bit more about this so-called 999 plan which you have.
As you know, the biggest domestic challenge we have is getting this economy growing. And so I, along with my team, we developed a bold approach. It starts with throwing out the current tax code, which is a mess. And it costs us $430 billion a year to file and comply with the tax code. So we throw that out and we pass a 999 bill that imposes a 9% business flat tax, a 9% personal income flat tax, and a 9% national sales tax. That revenue would replace the payroll tax, the capital gains tax, the death tax, corporate income taxes, and personal income taxes, all with the 999 structure. It is revenue neutral.
It would raise a lot less money than the present system, wouldn't it?
No, it would not. It was designed to begin by raising the exact same amount of money as the present system. And then when you add in the certainty of what the tax rules are going to be, businesses would then begin to plan for growth, and that's how we would stimulate economic growth through the business sector, which is going to create more jobs.
So in other words, the present sort of economic balance in the United States would stay the same. You think you would encourage growth, but as far as clearing up the deficit or dealing with the cost of old age and healthcare in old age, it would be the same.
I have a different approach for dealing with the entitlement spending issue. But going back to the 999 plan that's going to stimulate economic growth, here's how we are going to leverage that in order to be able to deal with the deficit. The first thing we have to do is to stop adding to the national debt every year. So in the first fiscal year budget that I will have an opportunity to sign, we're going to make sure that we live within our means. We must first stop adding to the national debt before we start bringing down the national debt.
And what would be your foreign policy priority as president?
My foreign policy approach would be an extension of the Reagan philosophy. Reagan's philosophy was peace through strength. My philosophy is peace through strength and clarity. We need to clarify who our friends are, clarify who our enemies are, stop giving money to our enemies, and let our enemies know who our friends are that we are going to stand by. We need to clarify the relationship that we have with every nation in the world that we consider friend, and we also need to clarify all of the nations in the world that are our enemies.
Finally, I just want to ask you about the race issue. Many people thought that with the election of Barack Obama, America was becoming a post-racial society. But as you know, this week, one of your rivals, Rick Perry, it's turned out his family owns some property with the name up on it of niggerhead, I think. That shows really that race is still a pretty live issue in your country, doesn't it?
I don't think it's as live an issue as some people make it out to be. The unfortunate identification of that N-word on that rock, I don't think that that is a reflection of Governor Perry at all. I simply said that the word being there for as long as it was, I think it was until 1983, was simply insensitive. But I do not believe that that is a staple of what race relations are in this country. They are not as good as many people had hoped with the election of President Barack Obama, but they are certainly not as bad as they have been, traditionally. I'm more concerned about the class warfare card that's being played in this country, because that does a disservice, especially to our young people. So I happen to believe that, yes, we're going to always have to deal with the issue of race, but I do not believe that it is some sort of systemic big problem that we are dealing with right now in this country.
Herman Cain, thank you very much indeed for joining us from New York.